All right. Welcome, everybody, to part 2 of the Singers episode with my friend David from the UK. So,
Hello.
once again, you guys know the drill. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. So, we'll be doing part 2 of our Singers episode. So, next up on the list is a band that technically had 3 singers. So, we shall be talking about Germany's Helloween. So on the first 2 albums, you had Kai Hansen on vocals. Then came Mike Kiske. And then came Andy Darris. And right now is actually, I don't know if it's the first time in music history or what, they're actually touring with those 3 vocals all together. Which actually is a pretty decent, pretty cool idea, if you ask me.
Yes.
Now, go ahead.
I think that is one of the most brilliant things ever done.
Yeah.
Honestly, if
they
did that with other bands,
it's a very cool, it works. It works. And it works if you don't have a lot of egos on the band. So let's see how long this this lasts here. So the Kai Hansen era was very power metal, verging on thrash. Is that fair to say?
Ride the
or
Sky,
speed metal or thrash. I don't really know the difference, to be honest. There. And
there's a very, very slim difference. Yeah.
Yes, and then the Mike Kiske era is more sleek, power metal ish, power metal / heavy metal, I guess, melodic. And of course the Andy Darris era, which is the same thing pretty much as the but again, in my opinion, suffers the same thing as Accept, which is kind of like on autopilot at one time for the Andy Darris era. But anyway, we'll discuss that in a few. So your take on Helloween?
Okay, so I think all 3 definitely have their highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kai Hansen, obviously, kind of the odd one out here, really, because there's only 1 album, and I mean, he's
one and an EP, 1 album and an EP.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I've not listened to the EP before. I've listened to the obviously his Walls of Jericho.
Is the last one he did, yeah. Or
yeah.
I don't know which came first, the EP or Walls of Jericho. That part I don't know.
Ride the Sky is brilliant.
Oh, I love that song.
I love that song. It's so good, isn't it? I mean, want to talk about Michael Kiske? Kiske, I don't know how to say his name right, but he's very. I mean, what else to be said about him? He's a fantastic vocalist.
Yeah, no, that's their peak. Their peak was their peak and their lowest of lows was with Kiske.
Yeah, Chameleon.
Yeah,
I know you like that one. So was it?
It's different.
Yeah, I mean, I've not listened to it, so I can't say anything. I've listened to. Sorry,
what?
Heavy Metal Hamsters. I don't know why.
Yeah, Pink Bubbles Go Away.
But I don't know why it just made me laugh because it's just so absurd. But I mean, it's fun. It's fun, you know.
Yeah,
they like their silly songs, don't they? But I mean, he's a brilliant vocalist. Obviously, very, very good, very good. Well, I mean, I'm a natural person. I like to root for the underdog. So, I mean, my personal one I like the most is Andy Darris or Darris.
My favorite album from Helloween is with Andy Darris. And my second favorite is actually with Kai Hansen. So,
okay.
But the Keeper 1 and 2 there are like very close in the thirds there for that. So
yeah.
But it's not because of it's not because of a vocalist. To me, the vocalists on this band are very interchangeable there.
Yeah.
I just found at one time Helloween were on autopilot in the 2000s with the later Andy Darris. No fault to Andy Darris, but my favorite Helloween album is Master of the Rings. It was such a breath of fresh air when I heard that.
I've not listened to that one yet.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want to know the funny thing is the one I like the most is Straight Out of Hell. So
Yes, that
I
one
know.
there. But see, that one was like it's
I think
it's better now. I find I did a
yeah.
ranking episode of Halloween about a month or so ago, and
Mm,
it was it Straight Out of Hell, which was Gambling with the Devil or Straight Out of Hell. I forget which one I
that's
liked more.
brilliant.
But again,
So
just by talking about it like that, I don't even know which is which. So you know what I mean? I could
yeah.
sing you any
Oh yeah,
song
yeah.
from.
Yeah, now I know you weren't a big fan of Straight Out of Hell. Gambling with the Devil, that's brilliant album, I think.
It's
But
probably the one that I liked a little bit better of late. Yeah.
and Gambling with the Devil, I'm sure you know this already, but Biff Byford does an intro. Did you
Who
know that?
does?
Biff Byford,
Oh,
Saxon.
okay. No, I did
He
not
does,
know that.
he does the intro. I didn't know. He does the intro for was it Kill It? Isn't it? It's Kill It, yeah. But yeah, it's
I'll have to
pretty
go
cool.
listen to
But
that again there.
yes, it's pretty cool. But Straight Out of Hell, I really love the album cover as well. So was it Nabatea?
Yeah,
How you
yeah.
spell that first one? That's brilliant. Burning Sun's great. I love the riffs on that. It's pretty much thrash. That one. Probably why I like it so much. Was it? Oh god, why am I forgetting now? What's there's one where it's just basically just sweat asshole. Yeah, I love asshole. It's just a great fun song. It's like the the silly song of the album because they usually have a silly sort of song,
Yeah.
but it's basically a big fuck you to all the people in our life that just
Mm-hmm.
you know um and oh god why am I forgetting now uh Waiting for the Thunder. Oh, I love
Okay.
that song. I love the piano in that song as well.
See,
um
I just don't know them as well as I do the earlier ones.
oh yeah, well, the funny thing is Halloween is a band I don't actually listen to that often. But I don't actually own any Michael Kiske era.
Okay.
But I've listened to the whole of the Keeper albums, and I like those a lot. I think what I mean, it's going to be a big surprise is that I Want Out is my favorite of
Yeah.
the Michael Kiske
That's
songs.
their biggest hit here in.
It's a really, really catchy song, and it's
Oh
a
my
brilliant
God, is
song.
it uber catchy song there?
It's
That's
so good though.
yeah. Oh, I love
One
that
of those
song. I
songs.
love that song. That's kind of
Yeah,
in that era where I kind of got into Halloween there, and from my friend.
I mean, it's
But
one of those songs like Ace of Spades that you can just listen to over and over, whatever. It doesn't matter, how. But yeah.
mhm.
Anyway, that's my take on Halloween.
Yeah, I would say like each era have some good stuff there. Like the Andy Darius era versus the Mike Kiske era. Vocally, I have no problems with both. It's musically that I find that the Andy Darius era was going on autopilot a little bit for a little while there, but then their last release, sorry, the last release they came out with, which featured all three singers, was actually a very good breath of fresh air for me.
Oh yeah,
But there's not really a Kisk era versus Darius era here in Canada. I don't know how it is over there.
yeah. I mean, I don't think there's that big of a divide anyway.
Yeah.
I think obviously there will always be the thing of like the Keeper albums are like the got the Grail,
Yeah.
But no, I think people generally like both.
Yeah.
All
Here
three.
here also.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, there's your Halloween era. So 3 singers for Halloween, and right now, if you actually want to listen to all 3 singers at the same time, get their latest album, which is just Halloween self-titled. All right. This one is a doozy. I'm keeping the last 3 bands actually for the big doozies here. So I find this one is the worst one that's got, well, second one maybe. So I'm talking about another UK band. You could start to Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
Paul Di'Anno, Iron Maiden with Bruce Dickinson, or Iron Maiden with
Yeah.
Blaze Bailey.
Blaze,
Now,
love Blaze.
I don't know how bad it is over in the UK. I'll just give you my take of your typical fan of Maiden, which everyone finds the Paul Di'Anno era good. The early Bruce Dickinson era, very brilliant. Everybody here loathes the Blaze Bailey era, but everybody has a little asterisk. Blaze Bailey, great vocalist, wrong man for the job. I'm like, okay. I know your take on Blaze Bailey. I actually like the Blaze Bailey era. I like their songs. Or I find them as bad as anything that came out after with Bruce, if that makes any sense. I know
Yes.
I've ranted about this band on my channel before. So the Blaze Bailey era is, for me, is as good or / bad as the Bruce Dickinson era. I find it as inspired. Let me put it that way. Musically, do I find sometimes I cringe at when I listen, especially on the first Maiden album with Blaze. Sometimes I cringe, like, oh, that's not in the right key. But I did. Anyway. Your take on that? I'll chime in after. For Maiden.
Okay, so I'll go through real quick. So Paul Di'Anno, I mean, I think he's very, very suited for the first two albums.
Yeah.
I personally think I like Killers more. The debut is brilliant, especially the Phantom of the Opera and the title track.
Mm-hmm.
Then you say Killers at Purgatory is brilliant. And the title track's great, of course. I'm trying to think for a second. Oh yeah, Murders in the Rue Morgue's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, first two albums are great. Classic Nawabum, new wave British heavy metal. However, you get to Bruce Dickinson. Number of the Beast is the first album I started with. I'm sure most of the bloody world I started with. Nothing wrong with that.
Overseas, pretty much the overseas was Number of the Beast their first.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna look at me like, what the hell? But Gangland was my favorite song for quite a while on that album. However, I think The Prisoner is my favorite now. The Prisoner is just really, really brilliant. The whole album's great. I don't think there's any sort of weak one on that album. Really. However, I've got to say, for Bruce Dickinson, my favorite's got to be either Power Slave or Summer in Time, and I'm sure that's very, very original.
Yeah.
So they're both fantastic, and I mean, Alexander the Great. Oh my God.
Yeah. I
think Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Yeah, that or Flash of the Blade have got to be my favorite Bruce song.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Bruce. I mean, what else can you say about him? Iconic, amazing vocalist. I mean, there's not many people like Bruce Dickinson.
No, he's still got it.
Quite rightly so. He is the essential Iron Maiden singer.
Mm-hmm.
However, now I've got to move on because I'm sure enough's been said about him before. I've got to move on to Blaze. Now, big surprise. I absolutely adore Blaze. Now,
yeah.
I personally think, right, Blaze was very well suited to the first one, to the X Factor. Now, no, he isn't suited to Iron Maiden, the band, and their sound, originally the sound. However, Steve Harris at the time, he was going through a really rough patch in his life. I can't exactly remember what happened. I believe either his wife died or divorced him.
Yeah, I think it was a divorce.
And, he went through a lot of crap, and he was obviously in a very dark place. And that album really, really shows how I was feeling at the time. It's a very dark tone to the album. And I'm going to do a bit of a hot take here. The Sign of the Cross, it may well be my favourite Iron Maiden song. I think it's an absolute masterpiece.
It's a great one. I like it a lot too.
Blaze's vocals are great. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Bruce is much better on Sign of the Cross." I think it's Blaze's song. I mean, a bit biased, right? But I mean, not to say you can't do it well. Bruce, of course, does a great job, but Blaze, I feel like his song is signing across, and that guitar solo. I mean,
Oh yeah, I love that guitar solo. Great middle.
I might not decide that it's my favorite song, but that guitar solo is quite easily my favorite Maiden solo ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it gives me goosebumps every time. And to go on the rest of that album, I really, really love Blood on the World's Hands, especially that little bass intro.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
That's really cool. I love Judgment of Heaven as well. Might be another dark subject, but I mean, it's quite a good. I think it's quite a good song. There's only a couple I really not bothered about. So these 2 a.m. And I mean, the fact that I can't remember them kind of shows. But The Unbeliever is brilliant. Unbeliever, brilliant. Yeah. Man of the Edge, of course, very, very popular one from the album. It's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Very, very good song. And oh man, I always get a bit stuck. What haven't we talked about yet?
From the X Factor?
The highlights. What's that, sorry?
From the X Factor you're talking about?
The X Factor, yeah.
Lord of the Flies, Blood on the World's Hands.
Is good.
Fortunes of War.
Fortunes of War, that's it. That's brilliant. I love that. That's really, really good as well. And I'll quickly go on to Virtual 11. Now, I think it's worse than the X Factor. Future Real's brilliant. Klansman brilliant. I like Don't Look the Eyes of a Stranger, but I don't like the Don't Look. I was like, yeah, okay, that's enough now.
I do like The Educated Fool from that one too a lot.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. I love that one. I really, really like the chorus as well. Now, I know The Educated Fool, it gets repeated a bit, the chorus, but I don't mind that because I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of my favorites on that album too. It's a very underrated one. And I really like Lightning Strikes Twice as well. I love that. Lightning Strikes Twice is really punchy.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. But I say it's worse than the X Factor. It's not bad. But here is where me and Dan will really, be a bit different now, is that I don't like the Agent of the Gambler at all. Well, I like the short version, but I don't like the don't you think I'm a savior? Don't you think I'm a savior?
Yeah. I like repetitiveness if it's good, and I think that part is good. So I'm making no apologies for loving that song, and I know I'm extremely in the minority for that one. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, that's great. I think that's great. Well, honestly, because not everyone should have the same opinion. I think me and you also we can go on to the subject of the the late Bruce Dickinson era. Now, if you ask me, this is the weakest era of Iron Maiden quite easily. Di'Anno's great. Early Bruce Dickinson is phenomenal. Blaze is great. And then the later Bruce Dickinson is just... Now,
Autopilot, I find. Autopilot.
Brave New World, great. What's after that? Is it
Dance of Death?
That's good. That's good. I like that one. Dance of Death can not exist really, apart from like maybe Passchendaele or Rainmaker's quite good. That's about it. I'm trying to remember what's after that. I will say
Face in the Sand. I like that one.
I don't remember that one, but what's after that one? What's after Dance of Death? Is it Final Frontier?
It's A Matter of Life and Death. Then after that, it's Final Frontier. Then after that, it's
Book of Souls.
Book of Souls, then Senjutsu, I believe.
What I will say is Final Frontier, I really, really love El Dorado. I love that song. I love
the first 4 or 5 songs, and then
Mother of Mercy is great, I think. And then I also quite like When the Wild Wind Blows. I know that's not a very popular one, but I do like that one quite a lot. And I'm trying to think what else. And it's a bit weak after that. But I'm actually, my favourite New Bruce album is The Book of Souls. I really, really like this album. I'm not a big fan of, say, Tears of a Clown. I think there's a couple of other ones, but oh my god, The Red and the Black is a masterpiece of a song. brilliant
But
song.
see, that one is extremely redundant too, as much
It
as
is.
The Angel and the Gambler.
100%. It's repetitive again.
Yeah.
But
I it's my favorite of the album.
I completely agree with you, and it's strange because it works somehow. And so Red and Black, I love The Speed of Light. I really like If Eternity Should Fail. The Book of Souls, the song is great. I also trying to think. Oh God, what?
Empire of the Clouds.
Oh yeah, brilliant song. Some people say it drags on a bit. I mean, it does a little bit, but it doesn't lose my interest. I'd still think it's and it's a great subject as well. I think it's a really cool subject. I don't think I've missed any of the ones I really like. Oh no. Oh damn. I've lost the names of the songs.
Just write them in the comments afterwards.
Death or Glory. I think it's Death or Glory.
I think so.
Yeah, that's good as well.
I'm not your good. I am not good at being your reference guy for those later albums. There,
Oh yeah, for the most part, they're very drab and just not very substantial. But Book of Souls is a bit of a favorite of mine, and it helps that I went on the tour as well.
Yeah.
To be honest. So, but yeah, that's my take on Iron Maiden for you.
All right. Well, there's your Di'Anno, Dickinson and Bailey little. I've done an episode on Iron Maiden, so I'm not gonna go rant off on it again there. So we'll go to there's two more bands. So this one also has got a lot of people divided here. Judas Priest with Rob Halford versus Judas Priest with Blaze Bayley. We've talked about this many times, David and I, so we'll keep it brief for this one there, but as good. I find him as good just because he can sing as well as he can. I'm not sure why this wasn't as popular. Is it because that style of music wasn't as popular, or was it because of because the two Blaze Bayley albums are liked a lot more than Nostradamus is, which was with Halford. So what's the deal with Priest? So I'll leave it up to you here. Halford versus Owens.
That's it, yeah. So sorry. Right. So I'll get into it now. People in the comments, if we don't mention this, I'd imagine they'd be like, "Oh, right." So Al Atkins. We'll talk about Al Atkins first. Now, he's definitely not suited for Priest. However, I mean, he was the very first person, and he's got a very bluesy, raspy kind of hard rock voice. And I mean, he's pretty good. Now, most of his stuff that I've listened to is decent. I've got this one album here, and I do actually really like his voice. But I think he could be do with having a bit of a better like backing band or something. But I mean, they're not bad, but compared to like Priest, they're not brilliant. So we'll quickly touch on Atkins. I mean, he's good, but I mean, he's definitely not Priest. But however, I would recommend you listen to his version of Victim of Changes. I mean, it's different. It's different, but you know.
All right.
So of course now we've got Halford. Now again, this is such like a Bruce and Michael Kiske sort of thing. What else can you say about Rob Halford? I mean, he is the metal god. He's fantastic. I mean, I've thought for a while he's the best metal singer of all time, quite honestly. Not my favorite. My favorite would be Lemmy Kilmister, but I mean, yeah, he is probably the best, most talented vocalist of all heavy metal. And I mean, Defenders of the Faith, Scream for Vengeance. I mean, the Painkiller. Even the more recent stuff like Firepower. I think the more recent Halford stuff is better than the more recent Dickinson stuff for Maiden, for example. He is absolutely brilliant, and there's not much really else I can say. He's just one of the most influential singers of all time, metal at least, and he's brilliant. For example, Nostradamus. We both love Nostradamus, and I think his vocals are brilliant on there.
Yeah,
and he's I mean, he's still doing really bloody well, especially for his age. he's still very impressive. But it's not Judas Priest, but I will say this. Personally, I think the best vocalist, especially for their age, is Biff Byford from Saxon. I mean, he's not aged a single day.
Oh, I know. He's
what is going on with him? He's not changed at all.
I know.
He still seems fantastic. Right. Okay, so we'll leave that because that's a different thing. So now we will talk about Ripper. Now, no secret, I absolutely love Ripper. I think he is phenomenal. Now, quite honestly, I think he can go toe to toe with Rob Halford. Now, I know this.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That probably get a bit of flack, like, but no, honestly, I think, and obviously, like, he basically grew up as a Halford impressionist, right? But he's a great vocalist in his own right. I mean, to do that, you've got to have a set of pipes on you. You know, you really do. And, well, I think he's bloody brilliant. So, to start it off, what we've got here. Did I get Jugulator out? I think it's somewhere. I got my CD out, but where is it now? Okay, I think it's still on that. But no, Jugulator, I absolutely love that album so much. And Dan already knows that I like that more than Demolition. However, I mean, that's like asking me if I like Pepsi Max, but also like regular Pepsi kind of thing or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
They're both great. Okay, you know, Demolition is, I think it's the most underrated Priest album. Now, I know, again, that probably people will be like, what? No, Demolition is top 10 album for me. I really, really love that album. But first, we'll touch on the Jugulator now. Cathedral Spires. Oh my God! I don't know how much I can say
genius, about that. Brilliant song. I love that one.
Cathedral Spires is probably my favorite Priest song of all time.
It's easily my favorite of the Ripper era for sure. It's in the top 10 of my Priest songs too, I think.
Only thing is though, is like when you put that Cathedral Spires next to Stained Class, which is my other favorite, they are vastly different. And the thing about Judas Priest is that they've had so many like different sounds, and well, they've done them all really well in my opinion. So Jugulator is a whole album to me. The whole album's great. Then maybe there's a little bit of a weak spot with Brain Dead, but I still think it's very good. But it's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time, and very underrated too. Then Demolition is even more underrated, and I mean, there's slightly more weak songs, but I would say as a whole, it's a good album.
So yeah, to me, as I think the writing of the music kind of suffered a little bit for the Ripper era. I have no beef at all with Ripper's vocals. I just find the album Jugulator, it was a little too heavy, too fast. Maybe put inverted both, like the Demolition, and then introduce us to. I was like, whoa, this is heavy as shit here. I was like, whoa, it was too much. But I don't like that type of heavy. Like, took me a while to get Painkiller, that song. Took me a while.
Yeah.
So if that one took me a while, imagine my surprise when I first heard Jugulator. I'm like, whoa, this is way too heavy for me here.
Oh yeah, well, like the vocals are on point. Like the vocals, you could think, oh, that's Halford-like vocals, but the music isn't. It's not like sound like Priest. What I would say is the songwriting is super, super cheesy. However, I like that. I kind of like that.
I find Painkiller has cheesy lyrics. Like that whole album is cheesy too. Same with Ram It Down.
Yeah. I'm getting a phone call, so I might have to go just for a sec.
Okay.
Wait a sec.
All right, we're back. All right, go ahead there. You were talking about Jugulator, or
okay, right. So, I was about to say one of my favorite ones from Demolition is actually Cyberface. Now, there's some very, very, very cheesy lyrics.
Yeah.
We're like, watch out for his megabyte and all this stuff. You know, it's silly, but it's great. I think it's just so silly that it's great. Or Machine Man when he says, "So you motherfuckers want to raise?" It's just like, what were they on when they wrote this stuff? But I think it's.
I like Machine Man.
Machine Man is absolutely brilliant. For the longest time, I never listened to the whole of the rest of Demolition, and I just listened to Machine Man for years and years because I was told by everyone, "Oh, Demolition is rubbish," or "Don't listen to it." I thought, "Oh, yeah," and I listened to it. I thought, "This is great." Yeah, compared to what everyone else says.
Yeah. Everybody has different tastes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's anyway for Priest. It's always been the Ripper versus Halford. Not that much to a point. Like, you must have heard or I don't know if you've seen Rockstar the movie.
Yeah, no, I haven't actually watched it. No.
Okay, but it's based on Ripper becoming loosely based on like a cover singer joining a real band to become frontman for them.
Yeah.
So it's loosely based on that. I have no problem with the Ripper era also. Just telling bands, like I said, don't give up on your legacy of what you have, whether it was a hit or not. Like, own it up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, just me, Jugulator was a little too much, too fast for. Yeah. But again, I felt the same way with the song Painkiller. So, all right.
Okay, yeah.
That's it for Priest then. So got the last one right here. So this one is the one that annoys me the most. So we'll go with Van Halen with David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar versus Gary Cherone. Now, I'm going to go and say I am sick and tired of the Roth versus Hagar fight. It's dumb. I used to be as a teenager, like, oh yeah, Sammy Hagar all the way, David Lee Roth, whatever. I've said it before. Hagar had the better full albums, I find. David Lee Roth had the bigger hit songs. Again, I find. Gary Cherone era, I'm not blaming Gary Cherone one bit for the failure of Van Halen 3, whatever it's called. His vocals are great. It's just, you're listening to three bands pretty much. The era with David Lee Roth, the era with Sammy Hagar, and the era with Gary Cherone. I just find the music in the Gary Cherone era just boring. Not that it's bad. It's not badly played. It's just boring. Just there.
Yeah.
Sammy era versus Roth era. It's two different bands to a point, I find. Yeah. Is there... Again, I find both. I lately, even before his passing, I was starting to get back into the... And I do understand the freshness of the David Lee Roth era. But I grew up on the Sammy Hagar era. That was my favorite. I just find the whole argument now is it's done, guys. Like it's annoying. Yeah. All my life, I see it on Facebook. Like whether I saw it on Facebook when it first came out. Facebook, I'm talking about, like 90 something or 2000, whatever. And I still see it like last year. So, not to beat a dead horse, but who's better, the Hagar or Roth era? I'm just like, oh my god, guys, give it up. You're just fishing. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, kid, just
people messaging me.
Anyway, I find that argument is old. Is who cares? I've actually outgrown it, and I'm like, I do appreciate the Roth era for what it is, and the Sammy era for what it is. I don't know how much it was of an effect back where you live at the time there. I know you weren't born but here at one point, everybody hated David Lee Roth for leaving Van Halen. And it was a big feud. Like, it was a valid feud at the time. But it's like, oh my God, this was back in 1985, 86. Now we're 2022, and it's still being like, who cares? I'm So I'm not even like enough to a point. I'm not even commenting on it anymore. Like I used to comment on it on Facebook, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even bothering. I'm not even getting to this. Is like it's almost
Yeah.
like clickbait material. So anyway, that's my take on Van Halen. I don't know if you want to chime in.
I've not, as you know, I've not listened to a whole lot of Van Halen. I've listened to 1984 and not Unchained. What's it called again? God.
Fair Warning.
Fair Warning. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're both very good. I need to listen to the rest of the Van Halen stuff. And I only laughed before when you said about what's his name, Gary Cherone.
Yeah.
Because that album cover.
Oh yeah.
That album cover that just makes me laugh.
It's a classic.
It's funny,
picture,
like it's just,
but it's I find the album cover terrible.
It's just funny, but yeah, I mean Van Halen, like what a great band, you know. But I only really know two of their albums, so and they're both David Lee Roth, so only so. But yeah,
my favorite Van Halen album is actually a Sammy record. That's what got me into like For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge is to me as good as Fair Warning.
Yeah.
Guitar wise and all that there, but anyway, it's an argument. I'm just very tired of going through, and I'm like, okay, and it's enough, guys, enough. They're really like it's really now I find clickbait material pretty much there. Like you're really beating a dead horse at this time here. It should be an argument that's done and over and done with.
For sure.
I like both, like for what they are. But like I said, I can admit that I loved Sammy and I hated Roth. Now I appreciate both for what they are. Now I just need the Gary Cherone era. I just need to work on that one now, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's my take on the Van Halen feud or whatever it is there. So nothing else to chime in for that there?
There you go. Not really, no. Just
all right. So I believe the last one is in your court here.
Of course. So now I almost sound like Street Fighter. Of course. But yeah, anyway. So the last one. Now this is a band that doesn't really need any introduction. Venom. So I very much like Venom. And they've had 3 singers. I believe technically. So the first one was Jesus Christ. This is
that was his name.
It's impressive they got Jesus himself to be in the band, like, but he's all right. You know, he could be better. So no, I'm joking. I mean, I've not listened to much of him, but I mean, he's all right. Yeah, I've heard demos. There's only ever demos.
Okay, are you telling me that there was a singer before Kronos?
Yes.
And his name or stage name was Jesus Christ?
You say them Jesus Christ, yeah.
I did not even know that.
It's funny, isn't it? But
goes to show you how much I know about Venom.
There's not much to say about him, but I mean, here we go. So this is what everyone wants to know about is black metal. So yeah, I mean, Kronos is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, he's very well suited for the band. Got great vocals, got those great harsh, vocals for it, and I do like him a lot. I'm not really a big fan of what he's like personally, really. But I mean, that doesn't really,
Yeah.
I mean, he's funny, but I've heard he can be a bit of a, but it's about the music, and I mean, he's very good. He's very well suited for the band. Quite famously, he's a bit of a, to get on with like the other members as well. I mean, they were all like 3 egos anyway, 3 big egos, and well, as I say, Kronos, I mean, very influential. I do really like his vocals, and I like him when he did that song with Dave Grohl as well. That's very cool.
Oh yeah, Robot. I have that. Yeah,
that's it exactly. So we've got the black metal here.
Only Venom I own was Probot, I think.
Okay, there you go. I mean, pretty much, isn't it? And then we've got the era when he come back with Casting Stone Resurrection. And I really, really like Resurrection a lot. I think it was Kronos, Mantis, and I can't remember the last the drummer's name, but that was a very good album. But I've got to get onto this now, and that is Primeval era. Put it the right way up. Primeval era with Tony the Demolition Man Dolan.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love him. And I mean, if it goes back any sort of trend, I actually like him more than Kronos, which isn't a particularly popular.
So this is the new singer, the current singer.
This guy is not the current singer, but
Okay.
he also is. He also is, but he's not. So I'll get onto that in a minute. So this album is very well praised, actually. A lot of people like it, so I'm glad about that. But yeah, I really, really do love the Primeval album, especially the title track, and they even did a Black Sabbath cover Megalomania, which I quite like. And even though they just did half of the song, but it's quite good.
Oh, your video disappeared there.
Yeah. It's all right. Someone's trying to call me now. Is my video on still?
Yeah.
Okay. And what else is there? I've lost my train of thought now. So we got
Venom,
the Temples of Ice and the Wastelands. I've not got Temples of Ice yet, but I mean, I love this album too. This is a quite underrated album. But then now you've got two versions of Venom. You've got Venom and Venom Inc.
Yeah.
And I really, really love Venom Inc. a lot. So I've got their brand new album, or nearly brand new, and Are They their debut, Venom Inc. And I mean, Tony Dolan is brilliant on his albums. He is very much, he's got the very spirit of Venom. I personally think these guys are more Venom than the actual named Venom.
Okay.
So yeah, he seems to be quite underappreciated. And I mean, they're both very good at what they do, both very good vocalists. So yeah, I think there shouldn't really be some sort of like rivalry or something. They should both be very appreciated. And I'm going to make one last little addition, which might be a bit strange, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. This is going to weird you out. So, have you heard of this film?
Yes.
Tony Dolan, the singer, is in this movie.
Yes. Okay, I remember you telling me about this.
I watched it last night, and he plays a character called Mr. Lamb, and he's pretty good actually. He's pretty good actually. He's not in that much of it, but I mean, it's very weird seeing one of the Venom vocalists in a movie with Russell bloody Crowe. You know, it's a great film. It's a very, very good film as well. So watch that if you have not seen it. But
all right.
I mean, there you go. That is my take on Venom. So
I got no comment on Venom because I don't own anything. Apart from that one Probot song there. I remember the couple of videos that I saw. It's really not my bag there. But again, not saying this is a bad or good thing there. I'm just saying I don't own any Venom. So I told David, you talk about Venom. I'll sit here and listen and look pretty. So
there you go.
All right. So that's pretty much it, right?
That's a wrap, my dude. Yeah.
All right. So on that note, I'm going to throw my little, you know what? I haven't done a ting in episode 2. So there we go.
There you go.
Now we can. So on that note, thank you, David, for this part 2 and part 1 also. So
you're very much welcome.
You're more than welcome to join us again here. Anything you want to say before we?
Not much really. Not much really. Apart from, again, it's an honor being on your channel. I love being on your channel, and I love talking to you because we always have a great conversation. So,
there we go. Yeah, that's music brings people together, guys.
It does.
Whether you have the same taste or not, that's a big statement there. So, all right.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for joining us again. Once again, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and we shall see you guys next episode. Take care.
See you later.
Yeah.
Take care.